So again, thanks to Nevio for being here. We know that they are very busy day for Milano-Cortina Foundation, for you. You know, this is the first event of 3 sessions that Milano-Cortina Foundation asked to the Polytechnic Milano to organize towards the beginning of the Olympic Winter Games. And so I leave you the floor, and thanks again.
Ciao. So thank you very much for 2 reasons. First, today it's a strike, so if you are here, it means your efforts are quite big to be here. Second, it's Friday, 5 p.m. I'm so happy to be here and to share with you, some insight about this wonderful project, which is Milano-Cortina 2026. I'm Nevio, Devidé. I'm Chief Revenue Officer within Milano-Cortina 2026, which means the chief, the executive deputy to all the revenue streams in order to try to do the games in a country. And today I've chosen to move ahead with you by giving some marketing insight. Not everything, but in my opinion, what's the core in understanding what the project is about, how normally it is approached, what makes sense. And again, the more you ask, the more I'll be glad to answer. And if I'm not, please raise your hand immediately. Okay, so let's start. This is something, you see already the title. This is the title we use when we approach any stakeholder, any company, any licensee, any people, which is a once in a generation opportunity. You see that this concept will come out a lot in this project. In Italy, we had the fortune to host this project 20 years ago, but it's not that usual. The first edition of the games came 70 years ago in Italy. Now this one will be the 4th project overall. Let's have a look. So the first spread Olympics in the history of the world. How long we have? 3 hours, 4 hours? No, it's 1 hour, right? And something like this. Okay. But so the first spread Olympic, this is the first time in the history that 2 cities, well, it's Milano, 5.7 million people, and Cortina, 5,700 people, merged together in a title, never happened in the history of the world of the games. This is because it's a new concept, which is for the IOC in the Agenda 2020, that became 2020+5. You can find this document online in the International Olympic Committee document session. The IOC said, okay, the world is changing, correct? So before, all the territories that wanted to host the games had to adapt to the need to the games. Now the new vision is we as a movement have to adapt to the peculiarities of the territories, not to lose money, not to spend too much money for sustainability reasons. So Milano-Cortina is the first test in this direction, but already the French Alps, will belong to this commitment. Brisbane is belonging to this commitment. So future games looks at this way to the games. We'll see 4 different sessions. The one what I do like to call it product, because either if it is a movement, either if it is a sort of sports religion, technically for marketers, it is a product, right? That goes in a market. The second one, how this product moves the level of interest, what's the feature, the content of this product. The third one is linked to the perception, because it's one of the main pillars of this product. And the fourth part are the assets that normally are used by companies in order to leverage their investment. So what it is the IOC and its goal, and what it is the IPC, because when we speak about the games, we speak about the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games. But these 2 movements are a bit different. The games and the IOC is positioning itself how we as sport can show the nature of humanity and the better nature of humanity, and how can we strive for the maximum and best effort and best nature of humanity. Where the IPC is saying, what you do home, move out, do sport. It's important for you because 15% of the population have disabilities. And a lot of people, once they have problems, they stay at home. So the IOC, the IPC, the International Paralympic Committee, first wants people to move out from home and use sport in order to step back in the communities and show that, again, you have a disability, what it is. I mean, that's the way you live, right? And there's no reason for you to stay home. So back, I mean, the value part of this project is crucial. This project, you'll see moving forward that, and this product is most linked to the intangible part of it, where the marketers and the marketing goes in the opposite way, right? It's always, lead generation, contact, percentages. You know what? Here it is a bit the opposite. It's how valuable is a better humankind vision and thinking. How much is it worth for you as a company in this case to step in? So the bases are, these are the value of humanities that we want to promote. Sport is one of the channel, one of the form, one of the distribution ways for people to show up what humankind should be. This concept stays on 3 main pillars, which is excellence, but not in the sense of, competing, winning, and, over the others in conquesting the others, in the sense of doing the best you can strive. Therefore, goes on respect, therefore goes on friendship. Be aware that sport has been used by the United Nations 10 days ago in order to say peace within, our request for the Olympic truce. And everyone said, 164 countries, 146 countries, yes, said yes. During Milano-Cortina Games, we have to strive for peace. Paris was 84 countries. What does this mean? That the sport is able to stop wars? Not really, but it means that sport can be used as a touch point, as a vision, as a storytelling to say everyone united, we want peace. So again, the fact of the intangible part, the intangible meaning of this movement is quite important. On the other side, as I said, is move out, and that the world becomes inclusive. So these are the pillars of the values that belong the 2 movements, where the Paralympic part stands on courage, determination, inspiration, any quality. I was shocked in the Paris game by the Paralympics because when I saw the athletes moving out from the swimming pool, shouting out their joy in a manner that I think none of us here have the courage to do. And then I moved out by thinking, look at this person, how he changed probably his parents' life, his family life, his community life. I said, wow, these guys are good, but they're not good in terms of physical performance only. They're good here in being humankind and by giving a common sense of what inclusion, equality is and what striving for excellence means. That's why this movement and food for thought for future researches, in my opinion, will be, but how comes that sport is able to do this? I mean, where, you know, okay, you have the games where 1,000 compete, but then you have millions that are moved to play because of this, also, not only, and then you have billions of people inspired by the values. Because sport is not the only way, social way of belonging humans. I mean, there is art, music, religion, but somehow religion is not able to merge physically 206 people for the Summer Olympic Games under a flag that stays hand by hand physically in a stadium. Will be 100 for the Olympic Games, Winter Games, not 2006 because of the disciplines. But the concept is the same. How comes that religion is not able really to do it? How comes that forget it. How comes that music either is not able to fully do it, or art? Because these are all social expression of humans. But sport does it. It's food for thought. I'm thinking about trying to understand why, if you are Japanese, Italian, South African, in Chile, or everywhere, at the end of the day, if you do sport, you share the same values. And when people see it, they associate the same values globally. Well, it's good to be explored, in my opinion. Now, this brings to something which is commonly and globally shared. The rings for you are the most recognized brand in the world. So everywhere in the world where someone sees the rings, these values steps back. You see, I'm stepping back always in one side to the intangible part, but then the intangible part gives a unique association globally, which means that basically all people over 14 knows what we are talking about. The Egyptians still are a bit weaker, but they are trying also to associate this value progressively in order to, again, steps in people culture and change people behaviors. In this case, this product, which is an intangible product, which is a territory, is creating a container, a perimeter, where people from all over the world will come to celebrate these values in an Italian way, let me say, or hosted within the Italian spirit, but mainly to celebrate what we said before. And wow, let's say, spread Olympics, what a stage. It's not the stage in the Scala, but it is a stage. Well, in this case, the stage is 22,000 square kilometers, which belongs to 2 regions, 2 provinces, 2 cities. Well, it's not that usual, okay? Also because this, you will see after, when hosting the number of sessions and the number of events, which is another feature of this product, because every other minute you have something that happens. Again, it's not usual for sporting products, if you want, or for anything. you don't need to add something particular to this moment. Basically, every day, every half an hour, something happens representing someone in the world, striving for excellence and making people, proud to participate this and to celebrate this. In our case, this will be, let's say, the portfolio of activities will be 245 sessions, 116 gold medals, 95 countries, 3,000 athletes for the Winter Olympic Games. Be aware that the Summer Games, it's 10 times more or less. Where the Paralympics for the Winter Games will have 59 sessions, mostly in Cortina, for you to know. Milano, we lost the ice hockey, and it's the place where you'll buy the tickets, of course, right? You already bought the tickets? No, you don't yet. Okay. But then stepping back, in terms of product, what this means organically. And also this is a starting point. This has been a starting point for us when studying what to say to someone that might be interested in order to gain resources and revenues. I don't like that much revenues in this project because it's more probably funds. Revenues, it's when you're in a company and you have a profit, right? In this case, you raise money in order to stage the games. So it's a bit different purpose, also being myself sitting in this position or traditional companies. But let's keep it revenue so far. It was used mostly for the future. If you are chief revenues officer, then you are also in normal companies, you might have a role where you have chief funds officer. Come on, it's a bit weak. But again, in any case, as a product, well, this has a big impact because there are 9 sites, as I said, 2 regions, 2 autonomous provinces. If you take the lens that organically will be impacted by these games, which will be north of Italy, as we said, but also Austria, Switzerland, Slovenia, straight, right? I can drive from Austria. Well, this impacts a market of 7.8 billion euro, which is a huge amount of money. The countries that are hosting the games counts 34% of the national gross domestic product and 27% of the population. So organically, this product impacts, again, this site. Well, these numbers are important because let me use the word selling this, you told to someone that has a economical, let's say, aim at the end of the day, which probably needs to be moved by the values and the purpose and the reputation, not really the product sales dynamic. I think we are trying to step into this. For you to know, in terms of feature of this product, the Winter Games attract organically, let's say, the most rich countries. Either if 38 countries out of 100 will come from below the equator, because the International Olympic Movement is investing into skating and ice arena that can be done everywhere. You don't need the mountains to do this, right? So, but still, so far, starting from scratch, when you do researches, this is what comes out. The Winter Games get attention organically by the most important economical countries. On the other side, this product, either being winter-oriented, as said, is, let's say, grabbing the attention all over the world, because more or less, either if not, let's say, precise like the Summer Games, you see that globally all continent will be hosted. So the attention will be probably, let me say for sure, but probably because we'll see at the end of the games throughout all the world. Another aspect which is quite important of this product and differs from the rest is what this product is here for. And this is something that is not belonging to sport engagement situation. It's not a sport show. It is something that belongs to respect, excellence, equality, peace, inclusion, sustainability, to show up that a country think that by doing this, the country proves that in this we trust, right? And so for not only the country, the message is, do you want to trust or not? How do you want to present yourself towards all communities for the future of your life? This concept and this design, this architecture, as you see, always organically meets a lot of touch point. You start from the center where you have the organizing committee, then you have what it is directly linked, which is TV production, which is partners, which is the IOC, which are the federations, which are the association. Then you move into the domestic scenarios where you have partners, you have the government, okay, you have the entities, you have the ministries, you have the school, you have the education, you have the cultural part. Then you move worldwide because they have international partners, international federation, international newspapers. This is linked directly within the organization. So this is a full part of the product that speaks to the global audience. So again, when you move out as a marketer, you move out by saying, okay, is it a bit clear what we are talking about the power of this product, about the feature of this product, about what the insight of these products are. Technically, for you to know, another feature of this product is that only 3 entities are allowed to associate to what I'm telling you. The first one are the institutional partners, which are normally the shareholders. In our case, the region, the government, the SISTI, the Italian NOC, and the Italian National Paralympic Committee. So the 2 committees of the country. So they are by default allowed to associate to this project. The second one, it's us, but we do not have any interest apart sharing for education and inspiration with someone, because we want the institution that speaks with the public, and we want the partners that support the project that speaks with the people. Why? Because we'll see that's what we sell. We sell one ingredient, I call it, which is a special spice, once in a lifetime in a territory that you can use on an exclusive base. Now, if I speak, I decrease the potential of this be done by you, which are a marketing partner or a political partisan institution. These are the institutional partners, so are the region, the founders, but also these host venues for you to know. And last but not least, as a feature of this product, is that all this belongs to what it is called clean venue policy. Now, clean venue policy means no brands anywhere. I add within bracket almost, or do it mostly no brand. Why? Because if you go to see the Olympic Charter, it is prohibited to use the games for commercial purposes. So how it comes, then you have sponsors. Yeah, you have sponsors because you ask sponsors if they believe in my storytelling, if they want also with the movement tell all communities what a better future might be by participating in the games actively which means becoming part of the project management, and then telling people what they are doing and why, or by using which product. That's it. They cannot say, buy 3 tickets, I give you 4, okay? They just can promote the values, the product use, and enhance the visibility of the movement or of the games.
They say the future belongs to young people. But beauty is ageless. The pursuit never stops, whether you like it or not. Through the power of humanity, respect, and excellence, we move forward as one. Looking for that unique moment in life. Beauty is here. So let's create the future together.
I'm using videos at the end of each part in order just to show how we tried a bit to wrap up into videos in this case, because video, of course, is becoming more important, right? In way of communicating in order to try to fix the concept I'm trying to share. So at the end of this part, what is that we are in a presence of a very strange and specific product, correct? Which of course talks to people globally by sharing the same message. I didn't place, well, we see maybe later, that fortunately has no haters at all, which is strange. Okay, talking to everyone, where you might prove and you might tell with courage that certain values are for the future of humankind, and you believe in it by not having brand visibility. Okay, this is the product, please. He did this because his dream was to speak loud at the microphone in this room. He said it before.
Funziona, che emozione. Allora, how it works between the athletes and the brands, the contract that they generally have instead of the events.
Then if you see the Olympic Charter, first rule about brands. You as an athlete have to perform. In order to perform at your best, you have to use your own equipment. Now, if your equipment has, I cannot, take it away, because I mean, in that case, I change your equipment. So the first segment about brands is brand on sport equipment is allowed. So if you have a partner which gives you the skis or the soccer shoes, you can use it. Then if he does a special one with the brands that big, positively for the games, someone comes and no, wait a minute, okay? But the first tolerance is that. So that's the case where you have a personal sponsor or your team, because in the case of the Italian Ski Association, but any ski association, there are brands that you support the team. So these brands are allowed. Then you have individual agreements, because you might have personal supporter or sponsors. Okay, there is a rule called Rule 50, which basically say, no. Beginning November, in the case of the Winter Games, before the games, you're not allowed anymore to advertise by using athletes, either if you sponsor them, if you're not promoting the games. Be careful, because that athlete might be disqualified and not to participate the games, which are not for commercial use. Then if you want to congratulate, it's good, because it's your athlete and you say, you know, we proudly support Nevio. That's fine. But still in the concept of promoting a way of living, a way of sharing values. So again, this is also a rule of the product, a part of the products that belong to the athletes, which means that all the others cannot do it. And when you host a game in a territory, this is controlled by a law. It's called Legge Milano-Cortina in Italy in 2020. If you go there, a special law says only the one supporting the games can use an association within the rules. All the others might get pursued and pay a fine from 120,000 euro to 1.2 million euros. And this is why, because you understood that the main part of this proposition is I give you the possibility to associate. I give you the possibility to use this spice, give me the metaphor, on your dish. And only you, once in a lifetime. How much is worth? Because that's also from market as the point, right? It's worth 100,000 euro or it's worth 50 million. Now, be aware that normally in Italy, the Italian Olympic teams gets around 27, 25 million per 4 years period. Now, our project gets cash. Our project gets 300 million cash, plus 200 million of what is called VAK services. So you compare 27,000 with 5.5 billion, it's quite a big leverage for an intangible moment, because the only difference between being a team or hosting the games, the concepts are the same, the values are the same, but to host in a territory, the games leverage almost 20 times the value of the Olympic movement in a country. Why? Because the level of interest is quite interesting. This project gets 2 billion global TV reach. These are Beijing numbers. That Paris increased 20% the past edition of the games. 68 million unique users, 2 million tickets will be our games, 3.2 billion social media engagement overall, 160,000 hours of production, 2.1 billion views on Olympic Spirit on TikTok channel alone. There are no project that gets this level of interest globally. Okay, but then you step back, okay, that's globally. What about Milano-Cortina? Because if you have my role, you care about this project, right? So the approach is also, and the method is also to understand if all this, which is, I hope, good, okay, does it fit with your target, your, let's say, objectives. Why I'm saying this? Because one feature I didn't tell you about the product when you host the games is that you, me, as an organizing committee, we cannot give rights outside Italy. So I say it again. You want to share and to associate with the games because you are a company that wants to support the Milano-Cortina edition. Then you come to Milano-Cortina, I give you the possibility to do it, but you can use it within the Italian territory. The technical aspect on this, which is the intellectual property, which are the rings and the agitos. The rings belongs to each national Olympic committee in each country. So Switzerland owns the rings for Switzerland. Austria owns the rings for Austria. Australia owns the rings for Australia. We as an OCOX received from Italy the possibility to use it until December 31st, 2026. That's it. But if I give to you the possibility to associate and you want to go in Switzerland, we need to go to Switzerland asking for the permission to do it. And if you are in, let's say, the product category, which is automotive, and you are Stellantis, like our partner, then we go in Switzerland, but they have Audi. And they've given the use of the rings to Audi. So you know what, Stellantis, we are sorry, we cannot give it to you. If you want to do that, you need to do a global program, which sits in Lausanne. When we have seen the recognition, and you'll notice later, there are different levels of partnership, and I explain how the architecture of partnership is there. But you see that starting point after when selling is, okay, I have a product, I assume this will have a high level of interest, which is what you look for as a company, correct? So I need to double check, and then I'll move to the next step after. But for Italy, I think we are lucky because I had the privilege to do the same job in Torino 2006. I was 20 years younger, and I was stepping into companies by saying, can you talk about the Olympics? And they said, the skiing events, right? No. I'm talking about the Winter Olympics. Like the race in Cortina or in Val di Fiemme with Belmondo. And no. I'm talking something else. It's the games. Sorry, you don't understand. So, I was asking for 15 minutes time of the CEO because they were not either let me enter into the companies. Then once I was able to step in, they were spending 3.5 hours. But in the beginning, people did not know what we were talking about because they were not used. There is a rule in communication that you see what you know, right? Here it's exactly the same. You step with the games in a different context and nobody knows. So you need to reach their trust, then presenting the product. But now people know. My decision makers, 20 years ago, we were kids or adults and we saw Torino and wow. Torino, it's a funny story. We did manage 38 shops in Torino. The day before the opening ceremony, this shop billed altogether 25,000 euro. The day after the opening ceremony, the same shops billed 3.5 million. After 4 days of the games, curling, which you know what it is, it's the stones on ice, right? Had 100% audience on Rai 2. Now, 100% audience means, I see the lady in Sicily, nearby the Etna volcano, ironing, and she normally have a look to Barbara D'Urso, correct? Because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and she sees normally Barbara D'Urso. That day, she was watching curling and say, "Ooh, what a sport!" She never saw ice in her life. So again, that's the power of sport, the power of the games, and how much interest this project gets. Organically, it's unbelievable. It's close to 42 million people that are impacted by this. I move forward, otherwise we go sleep at 12 tonight. But so within this, in order to enhance the engagement strategy of the country, in order to be able to propose in terms of partners this product, partnership is one of the revenue stream. Maybe we'll get to this after, but well, I think it's very important to, promote the concept of including, enhancing existing touch point, correct? And enhancing the existing emotional situations. So enhancing on the value that people already perceive. You don't need to do much in theory, if not moving this. So in our case, in order to do so, we decided to move by using the existing budget and the existing touch point, which are the ones you see here. opening and closing ceremonies, the torch project. I think you saw that the torch is lighted and is running around. And then moving also on the mascot as an example, by adding 5 strategic activities in order to go to people. The first one has been called Italia dei Giochi, you will see after, and we said, okay, how can we reach the communities? The second one was, how can we reach the youth? So it was more an educational direction. The third one was about, oh, there is people that really don't care about sport, more care about culture. Okay, good. So culture is a good stream to be followed, especially in the territories. The fourth one was, okay, but these people as community have to, you need to step down to individuals. So let's have a program in order to speak directly with the individuals, okay? Because we want them to be engaged. All this was, okay, these 4, we think that they need to be awarded once they are proudly engaged. And by doing this, let's see how we can transform this touch point in media communication, because if you have media communication, you have a common distributed perception. That's the only rule. If you don't have media, you don't have perception. Okay. I'm not stepping into details, but if you want to go to our website, you will find into the website that we have a program called Italia dei Giochi. Italia dei Giochi is very simple. You are organizing something that celebrates sport, respect, inclusion. You are welcome to be part of the family, and we are proud to give you a spice that may enable you to enhance your project by not hurting the Olympic law that I said before, because that's the technical difficult part. So Italia dei Giochi was the sportly community engagement. The educational program, we are here also for the educational program, is towards the school and the kids. The cultural program was for undecided people. Then all this, within this touch point, we are saying, okay, you as an individual, you want to become a fan individually to get special relationship, and then come to us because we award this and we are a family by producing media content, also engaging in and involving athletes, ambassadors, or the mascot in our case. So this is the pyramid, in my opinion, of this project, which is, okay, let's see, if we use this touch point, we can reach 37 million people, we can reach 11 million people, these are the families, we can reach 17 million people. So basically all the Italian base can be touched. Let's transform them into individuals, and then let's say add to it all the visibility throughout the media and the targeted audience by creating legacy. When we're talking about interest, the mascot are the most surprising character in the world. Because normally when you have a character, you need 3 years to launch it. And then maybe after a year, it belong common, and then it began its success story. The mascots in 2 years gets the same result, and people get crazy. So it's something which is unique in terms of approaching and having results. In that case, the mascot, we run a program towards the Italian schools, where 2 of them, one in Calabria, one in Lombardy, were chosen. The one in Calabria designed Milo and Tina, not really that way, but a bit different, then we elaborated. and the others design the flow. Have you seen that the mascot have some friends? They are called the flow. My computer is dead. Don't know why. Something happened. No. See? I'm sorry, for some reason is. No, è carico, ma non so cosa è successo. Da solo impazzito. Any question? So we touch, please.
Good evening. Between Torino 2006 and Milano-Cortina, your work field changed a lot in the organizing it. Like the world changed, so I'm sure that also the CEO changed his proposal. So I think changed a lot between these two editions. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. To find out about curiosity, reason why I stepped in after 20 years, because for just a short comment on this, between the two editions, I did run my own advisory in companies, and then I work in a totally different field. It was technology, data management, and with the law enforcement agencies, something very strange. But a lot of technology. And I was curious to say, okay, how can I step back and use technology within the same project? Because, I mean, it's not usual that, I mean, I was the only marketing director alive in the country related to the Olympic Games, right? Because the first one, you know, he did Rome 1960, so probably he was 40 years old at that stage. So I said, you know what, I'm the only one with that knowledge. But at the end of the day, fortunately, in one sense, unfortunately, in another sense, nothing changed. Which gives the strength, if you want, of the product, which is also the risk of the product. Sorry. Why? One side, the product is positioned a unique way. Do we agree? The UEFA Champions League, the FIFA Champions League, the Formula One, it's a totally different logic. It's more, you know, fast, speed, spectacle, engagement. Football, of course, value, very vertical. This is something more a religion, correct? How are we trying to do this? So this is quite good because it keeps a unique position in people's mind. I'm against this project to be used as a media with brands. Because if you give it you are a media, then you are compared to all the rest. But if you are compared to the rest, you will not gain 20 times the intangible valuable because you step down into a tangible evaluation. And if you go down to tangible evaluation, you have also substitution project. Why do you spend 10 million in the games to buy the games where I can spend 10 million in advertising? So if you step in that logic, you lose. So I was quite happy about the fact that the positioning is that strong. On the other side, technologies can be used in a different manner to speak with people, to engage people, to do sales activities. There, I didn't find any difference, unfortunately, which is food for thought for the movement, because now you need to be speed and to follow the world differently. So that aspect, so the answer is basically no changes in feature of the product, changes in the sites, because especially in the cost side, technology is worth 1/4 of the budget. 20 years ago was peanuts. can you imagine the anti-hackering system? It's huge, huge. Sì. No, però devo entrare di nuovo nel link, sì.
Hi.
Ciao. Ti ascolto.
Va bene. Allora, I have a question about the mascots. I've been multitasking. Okay, I'm fine with that. I've been watching the series of Finding a Mascot through Italy. I've seen the 3 designs, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the first time that we got 3 mascots, like Tina, Milo, and the Flo. It's the first time we do have 3 mascots, right? Or not?
It's the first time you have the friends of the mascot.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Because in Sochi you had 5 mascots, in Vancouver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's the first time that and the food for thought for us was something like, okay, the mascot cannot speak by policy, because you don't have to understand if they speak women, male, or if politically they say something wrong. So they never speak, they just act. And they have to be good, right? They cannot make jokes, they have to be serious somehow. But what about someone else, their friends, like Peter Pan and Trilli, or, you know, it's Pinocchio and the Grillo Parlante. So we thought we have 2 characters, both, they were very close in the voting system. Tina and Milo won 51% and the Flo lost 49%. But, you know, we went to Sanremo, so we couldn't step back by saying the other one. I mean, so we had to respect people's ways. And then we said it's a pity, because it was also the first time that a flower steps into, let's say, as a character in the games. Per vegetables, I mean, Rio a bit somehow was a composition. So again, in terms of creativity and opportunity, also for merchandising of storytelling,
Okay.
we decided to play this way.
I have another question behind that choice, which is more like, it might be provocative, and sorry if it is provocative, but the IOC had issued a, let's say, file. I'm not remembering the date, about the transgender people who don't go with articles she, he, go with it. So when I first saw Tina, Milo, and the Flo, my thoughts were one Olympic organization and Paralympic organization that includes these kind of people to the games by adding a mascot for them. Was it the case, or was it just my thought?
Oh, well, I think we tried to be the most inclusive we could. Our main message here when choosing the characters was, if you see Milo, he has no leg, he used the tail to ski and do things, and if you, now I can show you back. But so the main message was inclusion for us. Also the flow may I use it, fluid, okay. So because we didn't want to step in this, also because honestly, this decision does not belong to us as an organizing committee, you know.
Exactly.
For example, the association are more the federation that have to choose about the athletes, about the politics. We are creating a container, a pot to invite the world, and that's our role. So
Sure.
When we propose this with this sense, for the IOC it makes sense. Then there are a huge discussion about several aspects.
I know, I just wanted to ask, because this, what I just put on the table is inclusion. I've read about it. I personally haven't read much about these separations, and I'm not an expert. I don't go with them.
No, the point is that all these thoughts are in the backstage, but when you move out, you don't have to step into detail, in our opinion. Okay, so that's why you keep high at the end of the day. But the answer is, I mean, do we took care about the design and the line and being thinking about what the message can be, how can be perceived? The answer is yes, but not stepping in too much in judging or promoting certain things, because again, we don't think it's our role. This discussion belongs to other entities, to other situations, to the humanity in different things. And I'm still convinced this is correct when you are an organizing committee. So take the position of an organizing committee. I'm not representing the International Olympic Movement, okay? I'm hosting, we are hosting the Olympic movement, the Paralympic movement. And again, what we spend a lot, for you to know, our side, was how we, the Italians, want these games to be perceived in terms of identity, celebrating what towards the world. Because the contents are the athletes, sport, respect, value, blah, 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 but the edition is in Italy. So in Italy, you want to tell something and celebrate something you believe might belong to humanity as an attitude. So we went down in the territory, we did research, asking everyone, politicians, musicians, sports people, common people, universities, blah, blah, blah. What came out, you'll see it after, was that we think that as an attitude, the Italian spirit is a way that might contribute. And if you want, the food now with UNESCO comes in this direction. So this way of interpreting life in an innovation way, not in a creativity way, is what we think might give a good message to the world. But this was the really one in detail deployed. This brief was given for the mascot design to the schools.
Okay.
And the school designed, an animal or a flower. But again, so it's a mix of it.
I would use the verb accept and let the world, a phrase, let the world see what's being held in the world. I wouldn't use the verb judge or that's it.
Okay, last part in terms of interest when selling a product, because I'm sorry to step back, because we do sell a product or propose a product, is, okay, this product, this spice comes in a country not that often. So think about it. Good. Last one. So we have a product. In the funnel, we have the interest. Now, what the attitude, right? We have the tension, what the attitude and the interest, why this might move to different behavior, which is the perception. And when you play this product, again, you step back to something which is fully linked to reputational aspects, fully. If you do this, it's because you have the possibility to say something with courage, being trusted, because people perceive this. So don't be afraid to say very strong if you believe it, because by using this association, you can tell it. Be careful that the games are not politically, are not commercial, again, are not there for judging. Perception in Italy was quite good and strong. So again, we were lucky because it was just Nevio thinking of it by being involved in this project, but people perceived this in a full manner. Again, here, fortunately, there were no doubts about that. Associating with this product, you might have great results in terms of reputation and commercial results. This is linked to environment, is linked to society, is linked to legacy, is linked to positive values, is linked to a positive attitude toward the partners. The Olympics are perceived in a very good manner. Fan of the Olympics. this might bring in creating loyalty with consumers based on deep, fundamental, symbolic meaning and on the athletes, which are a quite important part of this. Again, this also came out from the research. Why I'm using this, I don't want you to read all of this, but I think you might see how in this project, but in any project, you have from one side what you can measure and interpret, but then you have to add the intangible part, which makes the difference in product perception. How we call it premium. So this, in my opinion, comes clear that you managing this product and this project are stepping into a premium, unique, exclusive situation once in a lifetime. So that's what, as a concept, you need to sell. Now, this can be deployed then technically, creatively in different manner. This is an example of what we have done in terms of inspiration for a brand which is a partner. So you can work on product, you can work on experiences, you can work on brand visibility, depends about your strategy, correct? As a partner, you can work on people. A lot of companies do this for their own internal people. So you see, this gives you the opportunity transversally to use the association in order to reach the objective of your strategy. Ah, aspetta. Sorry. No, no, just one second. Sorry about that. Perché quando si fa condividi bisogna... Sì, non l'ha preso. Sei qua. Vedi? Audio. Ah, vedi. Ok. No, non c'è problema. Start again. Let's try.
Rende davvero italiani. La tenacia, inossidabile. La forza è chi ci spezza. Eh sì, siamo proprio un popolo di ferro, forgiati dal fuoco che abbiamo dentro. E chi non sa di cosa siamo fatti, non sa neanche di cosa siamo capaci. Noi che come il ferro sappiamo legarci agli altri trasmettendo calore. Noi che come il ferro sappiamo vibrare davanti alla bellezza del nostro paese. E quel ferro che plasma il carattere di noi italiani è lo stesso che forgia i binari che uniscono il nostro paese. Un paese che con le nostre strade, i nostri ponti, i nostri treni e le nostre stazioni viaggia dritto verso il futuro. Eh sì, siamo un popolo di ferro. Ma anche il ferro può sciogliersi con le emozioni dei giochi di Milano-Cortina 2026.
So if you see, and prego.
Regarding what you say before, I don't understand really well how this kind of advertising is allowed by the spirits of the games, by the regulation of the games.
Because the point, the path is this one. We all think about a better way of being as a humans, correct? So we strive in certain values that we think will make us better. Then within this, sport is one of the channel that proves these things, that you can stay together, you can strive for excellence in a peaceful manner. You know, and also if you want, by adding performance, by adding exclusivity, by adding research, I mean, you can link a lot of things to this. Also arts do it, also music, also, I mean, any cultural or any art does it socially, but sport is global. And again, I'm curious to understand why. Maybe, you know, it's because it's with your body, you do the same train of effort. I have no idea mentally, because you prove the same things if you are Brazilian, Italian, Muslim, or anything. But sport, do it. Now, you believe that that's what you want to achieve, and you want to, you know, associate with that because you believe as a company that that will be the word, and you share the same value by doing your own activities. So you associate the two, and you come out with something which merge my vision as a company, which is common. I want to tell you that I do agree with that values of humanity that is shown by sport.
So basically, you are not promoting a product, your product, but some values.
Some do it. If you take Samsung and you see the advertising, because the product is used to advertise, to show people in TV cameras or to make picture, they just see the product. But also there, it's always the premium product. So it's somehow it's the innovation towards the future to support people in that usage of that tool. Okay, it's never a pure commercial association. It's prohibited. It's prohibited by, if you wanna be a partner of the games, you can do it. Be aware that if you wanna do a global sponsorship, you have to present your purpose in 10 years. Otherwise, the IOC is not signing an agreement with you. TCL, which is a electronic consumer company, makes TVs. It's in Italy since 3 years, 4 years now. Maybe now that you see the brand, and I told you, you see them next time you go to Unieuro or I don't know, Euronics. But you know what? B2B, they have signed with the games, and this distribution channel said, you know what, you're serious. Because normally company like yours steps in and they disappear in 2 years. But you committed for 10 years with the games, which means you have a vision. Come in, I want to work with you. So it's you know, it's based on reputation and values, but on the other side, elevate the level of trust. And then you know that when trust is high, then the effort to make a sacrifice is much easier for people. Now, how you get to that point has changed because you guys are less impacted by brand in the 20 years ago way of thinking. But still, you hunt for serious companies that do what they say and not tell what they want you to be perceived. So again, this project are saying, okay, in 10 years, this company think that way. Of course, and of course they have to do it. Be aware that because of this, 2 Japanese companies, when during the Tokyo Games in COVID, Toyota and Panasonic, they were fully committed to the games. But the local people were not happy that in a moment of difficulty for the country, the games were hosted in Japan. So some of the population was contrary of hosting the games. And you know what? They moved out from the Olympic movement because of values, not to hurt the population, but just to say the opposite way, how strong it is, the relationship between, you know, vision, trust, and of course, impact on people. Okay. What I said, which is there is a product which get a level of interest, a certain perception that drives to actions. How you can do it? Technically, you give assets. But the concept for the game's product is like George Clooney and Lavazza. I don't know if you have seen this spot some years ago, but when you have a testimonial, you give money to the testimonial, correct? Then you spend money to use it. The Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games are exactly the same. You first give money to the organizing committee, and you give product, services, people to stage the games. Then you use this content to tell people, hey guys, that's what I am. What am I, okay? What I am. So that's important. So you do it, the tools are the one will go fast, which are the emblems. These emblems will end on December 31st next year. They will disappear. You remember the story of the rings to be given back to the Italian NOC. We also have, by constitution, the emblems of the teams. So the NOC has given us the possibility to sell the emblems, and we have all the assets that we created for the games, which are this one. So symbols. Now, all this works in 3 segments technically. One is branding. You as a company, you have a strategy of increasing the brand visibility or brand attention. The second one can be commercial. You use this to do commercial activities, either driven by reputation, but slightly for sales. The third one, it's engagement and legacy. This is how normally the assets are composed, the inventory of which asset you can use for what. So technically, we studied this to be given to the partners in order for them to make their food for thought. This is, as you see, what can be used for what. I'm not stepping into detail, which is the job of a marketing agency, okay? On the partner side will be maybe the content for the next. My team before games time is 66 people. Yes. And my team, we manage domestic partnership, where this looks the most, because here we are talking about the product, but this is sold also to licensee to make products. Please go to the Duomo Square and buy a lot of merchandising that finance the games. We manage ticketing. We manage hospitality, which is ticketing with something. We manage after-sales product. So if you want to buy the torch relay, you need to be a partner first. Okay, and we manage retail. So the shops that you see around belongs to my group. Then I show you, I have these 6 revenue streamlines, and then I have what I call facilitators, which is a commercial support department, a legal support department, a product development, which is marketing and analysis, and a coordination that supports me in coordinating the activities. Okay, now, last but not least, okay, good Nevio, good story. Wow, interesting, but so what? Okay, the studies that we have conducted over 10 industries, 9 different business categories, both B2C and B2B, over 9 summer and winter Olympic Games. So we said, so what? Okay, so if you use it in terms of brand, you remember what we've seen before. You get 21% in positive positioning and perception on top of your normal investment. This is on average. And plus 24% in advocacy. If you step in competitive advantage, you use it for a competitive advantage. Because be aware that if you are on the other side, you need to decide what you use this product for. I mean, you cannot afford everything because it's a lot of investment. But if you use it as a competitive advantage, you have a plus 25% in market share within the audience targeted, 26% increase in intent of purchase. Now, if you transform it into, by seeing the revenues of the companies, you can easily understand why investing millions make a sense by using reputation and association. If you speak about the community, it's a plus 39% positive social impact on average. If you use corporate aspect, plus 81 on enhanced participation within the, and I'm not placing here if you are a company that goes to the stock exchange market. We have one case of Salomon, which is the branding company. They stepped in before getting quoted in the New York exchange market. So that asset of trust increase 5 points their value. If you do it for sales, plus 23% increase in sales. If you do it for your staff internally, because, sorry, you have issue with your team, plus 35% of active employment engagement. Now, if you are not a big structure, you cannot afford the games, not because of money, because of organization often. Because if you are any and you have to provide energy and you have to design the architecture of energy, I mean, you need to be any or nearby the competitor, or let's say a new incomer. You can't really be a small company. It's quite difficult. But you can also make ski poles and you are a small company. So the proposal in that case is adapted. But let's say that if you take the revenues of the people and you apply these numbers, I mean, again, then becomes easy to understand and decide, maybe I do it. Maybe I do it. In Italy, because of the structure of the Italian, let's say, business community, we decided to have 4 levels of partnership, because in Italy, for you to know, we have 6.8 million companies. So 6.8 million companies, huge amount of companies, which means we are very fragmented. So normally in other countries, 3 levels are used, but we understood throughout studies that, again, 4 opportunity to step in was a better way of approaching the local market. And again, the summary of this is something that gives big reputation, good interest, great perception. You demonstrate that you do it because you are part of the project. You are not sponsoring. No. You are doing it, which is totally different in terms of approach and storytelling. And last but not least, you do it together. So no, you're not doing for yourself only. You're doing for the benefit of everyone. And this worked out. This is the list of companies as a week ago, are 46 brands. If you start from the Olympic and Paralympic premium partners, the second level. So in this project, the first line is the global partnership. So it's not us managing that deal, are the one that can say everywhere I'm a partner of the games, Coca-Cola. The technicality here is that the International Olympic Committee goes in Austria and he buys the marketing rights for drinks. Then he goes to Switzerland, he buys the marketing rights, then he goes to 206 countries buying rights, and then he sells it to Coca-Cola. So it's an agreement. It's not just, something money given away. It's a technical agreement and a marketing agreement. And this week we were able to close the last 7 deals. So the Italian project, which is from the Olympic Paralympic partners in the 4 levels, plus the hospitality provided, we get to 53 partners, which is quite interesting result. As I said, all these partners have decided to join and to promote what will position them better in the market to achieve numbers in terms of branding, commercial, blah, 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 by sharing the fact that this project wants to give as an attitude to the world, hey, have a look to the Italian spirits, because in terms of innovation, creativity, and way of acting, it helps, okay? It might contribute.
Look at the absolutely giant.
So in your overview, how the field of play will look like. I bring this one because it's a sort of merge of what we said, but you also see if you'll come to see the games, and please bring your empathy into the stadium. Come on, guys, be there, because now, you know, it's quite needed that when the athletes are there, we are there to support them. But you see that the look and feel of the stadiums that in 2 months' time you'll see. There is room for supporting. If you want to do something, send your CV to cv@milano-cortina2026.org. We're still looking for people. If you want to have fun, maybe, you know, move snow away a bit in mountains or be something, you're more than welcome, because still help is needed. Question?
Thank you again. Question from the classroom, from the young colleagues? No? Bye.
Regarding the bottom lines of revenues, which is the percentage that you imagine, that you forecast to receive from the ticketing? And how much of the revenues of ticketing remains in MICO? And how have you to give to Olympic Committee, I don't know, other entities throughout the process?
Yeah, the structure, first of all, be aware that in a project like this, normally 2 entities exist. One entity that always belongs to the government is the one building structures, road, stadium. In our project is Milano-Cortina Infrastrutture and Servizi, right side. We use what they prepare, if they prepare it, okay? And if they are ready. Now, to use it, which is to build people, food, temporary transportation, in this project, almost a couple of billion are needed in this project in Italy. Torino was half. So spreading around the games, it's a great concept, but in terms of effort, you know, it's spreading logistics, spreading transportation, so maybe a little costly in that way by saving on other parts, which is infrastructure. On top, compared to the past, technology and ticketing technology has raised up incredibly. In a winter games, ticketing is 10%. Why? Because in winter games, the stadiums are narrow. Okay, we'll have a Santa Giulia Arena that will be 50,000 tickets, but if you go in Bormio or in Cortina, you cannot have 50,000 people. Either if in alpine skiing for the passionate people, you might have 20,000 people, but you cannot transport them to Cortina and host them in a secure way. So the winter games the ticketing is less compared to the budget of the summer games. Again, all these numbers, if you're curious, you can find it in the olympic.org website about the past games. More or less, it's always the same. This project is funded half from the IOC. International Olympic Committee says to an organizing committee, okay, you won hosting the games. TV rights belongs to me, which is not normal in project sport management. So TV rights, I'm sorry, you don't touch it. And I give you money. which is a portion of the overall cash-in they do. They do the same with the top program. You remember the brands up there. So they give you money, which is close to half of the needs. The rest, it's us going out there with a cap in your hand, trying to collect it. And out of this ticketing, it's around 200 million euros in this case. So be aware that Italy will have close to 2 million tickets, but at the end of the day will be 1.6 real, because you have TV cameras, you have disabled seats, so you have to move away the tickets. So at the end of the day, it will be less. And for the summer games, we're 15 million.
So don't you have to give part of the ticketing revenues to the IOC?
Yes, we pay royalties.
Okay, you have some.
When you host the games, you pay royalties on everything, not only to the IOC. We give a portion of money to the Italian Olympic Committee also to use the Italia team logo, both the Olympic and the Paralympic. So from what we cash in, close to 30% goes to different entities. So the net money that we can use, it's around 75%. In this project, another feature, which is very, important also for, I gave this concept to my friend in a small village that he was running in Festa della Castagna, which is castagna in English. I don't remember how it is. And he was collecting money for the priest and the church. And he was collecting money and buying meat. And then I said to him, listen, but if you go to the butcher, instead of asking money, you ask for meat, maybe he gives you more. Think about beer. If you ask for money to a beer company, probably they will not give it to you. But if you ask for 1,000 liters of beer, for them it's peanuts. But if you then turn 1,000 liters of beers, 5 euros for each glass, it's a huge amount of money for a small church in the village, correct? That's called VIK, which is value in kind. So you collect what it is needed to run and stage the games or the project instead of cash. And in the games, this account 68% of the total revenue. Why? Because you give me automotive and services, you give me energy, you give me, and you also do with me the design of the event. So you give me people, engineers, blah, blah, blah. This is valuable for an event because normally it is a cost. But if I come to you and you cover that cost by providing people, energy, blah, 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 that's good. That's a revenue, correct? But this concept can be applied everywhere, in any event. It's an advice to do it and think loud what it is needed instead of trying to cash in, because the more you cover cost, the more safe you are in doing sport marketing or event marketing.
Any other? No? So I don't know if you know well this master program, but we have right now several our alumni that they are spread over all around the venues, from Livigno to Cortina and so on. So we have a very strong connection with Milano-Cortina Foundation. So thanks again. No other questions? No? Ok. Buon Natale e buon aperitivo. Io ormai... Grazie ancora, grazie Nevio. Ok, facciamo una foto, just a picture all together. Maybe you can... maybe... Questo amico di Guatemala è svenuto, probabilmente. Perché lui poverino si alza alle 3 di notte quando poi è mattina, è una cosa pazzesca. Facciamo una foto con un background qua, sulle scale, vediamo se per te va bene. Magari la foto unique, una bella... Ce l'hai qualche